Being a man, I mean, being a man, it's first of all, it's a responsibility.
Hi, my name is MC Jesse, or you can call me just Pamudomi. I'm a man.
And it's the ability for us to be
Responsible.
there for...
The responsibility of a man is required by today's society.
Being men, you know, men are honest, men fail, men...
As men, let's take our place.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. This is your coach and your friend, Robert Brawley. And of course, I'm here to host the best show in Eastern Central Africa, south of the Sahara. And that's none other than the All Men Show. Thank you to all who watched last week's show. We had a great time with Mr. Shafi Abdallah Weru. And from the comments, of course, many loved the engagement. Today, another great man. A man who, they say, came from humble beginnings to national limelight. We want to find out, how did he do it? What is the process before he enjoyed the prize? Mr. Chipukizi.
Ishakuwa.
Ishakuwa?
Yes.
Itakuwaje?
Ishakuwa. I miss saying that.
Go on. You miss saying that.
Saying
Please look at that camera and just say it then.
Itakuwaje.
Release hiyo kitu sahi.
You know, I created that thing.
Yes.
The late Ayaya was... there was a time we were making... you know, when we were starting comedy, Ayaya, the late, we used to write a lot with him. And so when he got Ayaya, so I was like, hata mimi nataka kutafuta yangu nikikam kwa stage naambia wase itakuwaje. So we come up with that thing.
Vincent
Mwasia.
Mutua.
Yes.
From Tala.
Tala.
You know, many young people, actually, I used to think you're just joking about coming from Tala, being part of your act. But the truth of the matter is you're a man who came from humble beginnings. In the true sense of the word.
Yes.
So your story should really encourage a young man who is somewhere feeling that life has dealt them a hard blow, that there's so much darkness that nothing good can come out of that person. How did you start?
Sometimes I want that to happen. And, you know, recently I've been thinking, like, what is it that I would want people to take from me? And I realize that it's those young people who are trying to come up from very hard situations. I said that they can look at me and say that he tried, so I can try.
Right.
And so my story of how I came up, you know, it's I think one, it's a blessing that I was born. I give thanks to my parents and how they brought me up. We didn't have a lot, but that does not mean that we had come from a poor family.
Are you the
like
firstborn?
That. I'm the firstborn.
Of three?
Of three.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather was a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher, and they were strict parents. So when my dad, you know, had me, my grandfather was very strict that, you know, you have to take care of them. And through that, we went through a lot of struggles.
Right.
And through those struggles, that's what I wanted to leave home. I wanted to leave home so that I can go back home and help mom and dad. You know, there was poor education, no access to roads, hakuna kusoma. Like, tulikuwa tu wase wa shags, bro. Sisi tulikuwa... Tumekaa ushago na kina mzae na maadhe tunajua. Nikimaliza class 8, not form 4, napewa land na ng'ombe.
Uchunge.
Nichunge, you know, na nioe. And out of that, I wanted more. You know, I wanted more. I wanted more. I felt like we needed more for a family. And so I went to high school, Tala High School, left Tala High School. When I left Tala High School, I came to Nairobi to hustle. But I was trying to, because my parents were trying to take me to college. Come here to Nairobi, I'm trying to look for college. I get one. My mom, you know, gets some money to take me to college. But also I'm trying to hustle. You know.
But before you go on, is there a belief? Because Jalas was in this show 3 weeks ago. And he said he also wanted to leave Homa Bay to come to Nairobi. Is there a belief that it is only in Nairobi you can make it?
In the villages?
Yes.
In the village, Nairobi bro ni New York. In the village, everybody, you even, unataka hata kuacha shule uende Nairobi. You know, because you see, that's where everybody goes and comes back. Everybody in the village who makes it. Ukuwe ni degree ulipata, ukuwe ni mzungu ulipata akakuoa, unarudi kwa shags na kitu different. Kitu haiko, unarudi na kagari.
Uliipata Nairobi?
Unarudi, yes, ulipata Nairobi. Unarudi na mkate manze. Unarudi na radio. And so the belief there is that we are going to school to study, and it's a very dangerous thing. You're studying so hard, umalize uende Nairobi, you know. And so, yeah, it's a belief that in Nairobi, that's where and that's where I was coming from. Mimi vile nilimaliza high school hivi nilikuwa nakuja hiyo kitu nirudishie home. Niende home na mkate ama radio.
Especially for your mom.
Especially for my mom.
Because I had another guest here, Ty. Ty has pain that he was a professional footballer. Alisema his biggest pain is that his mother died before he signed the professional papers. So there's something about the boy child or the man connecting to the mother that we all want to make our mothers proud.
Yeah.
So when you came to Nairobi, or before you came to Nairobi, at some point do you feel like if you don't come to Nairobi, there's nothing that will come out of your life? Ulifeel tu haitaweza?
For me, I don't know, it was a mix. It was a mix. I didn't think about it like that. But I thought something good will come out if I go to the city.
Okay.
And I wasn't even looking for much. I just wanted my mom to be able to sleep well at night and know my son is now an adult, is responsible enough. He can take care of himself. I don't need to call him. We don't need to talk. Ako sawa.
Tosha.
That was a success, bro. Do you know how weird that is? Like, for me, that's a success. That's what I enjoy most. Even today, that my mom and dad are okay. It's not the cars or the positions or the fame. It's, you know what, mujinga alitusumbua, like, but guess what? It's fine. And that's what I was looking for.
Because as a firstborn, everything you do, mazona angaliwa hivi.
Manzi.
What has that done to your brothers? The fact that you've come to the big city and have made something. If you walk in town, 9 out of 10 people will know who you are. And I'm asking you these questions because there's somebody in Tala, there's somebody in Busia, there's somebody in Homa Bay, there's somebody somewhere in Karatina, maybe in some small village, who feels, you know what, if he did it, I'm going to do it. But many are looking at the prize. But the process, when you came to Nairobi, you just didn't arrive in Nairobi and everything was wow.
Yes.
Kila kitu imeingiana.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about that process, the highs and the lows.
I think the highs and the lows, but also you have asked a very good question about what it has done to my brothers.
Yes.
I think I come from a family where my grandfather, she was called Matilda Monde. She came from a Kamba family called Malindas. You know, and the fact that when I was coming up, when I was young, I knew so many other influential people in my family.
Right.
Who can be able to help me, you know, rise above where I was at.
Yeah.
I decided to believe in myself. And that means I was believing me and me alone. I didn't want to go and bother anyone. A rich uncle or a connected cousin or a rich neighbor and stuff like that. I wanted to try and do it for myself. And one of the things that I see my brothers have learned from me is that, because my small brother, our last born, he went to school and he did his own thing, you know. He took time, he passed. And when he came out of school, he said, I want to go to campus. And I could see how he really is trying to be independent, not trying to say, oh, brother angu ni celeb, or brother angu ni msanii, so I mean, hey. He's trying to do his own thing. He's not even involved in my, you know, and I look at him becoming his own man at 20, and I'm like, this was me 8 years ago. And this is what I wanted. This is the other thing that I wanted. I didn't want to mislead these boys. I didn't want them to look at, like, even when I became a comedian, I was like, because now we hang out with Kina Jesse and Kina Jalango. Kuna mademu, unajua, ni tuna live life. So I'm like, my brothers zangu watakopi, wataona hii life. And for some reasons, they don't even care about it like that. They see me as their own brother even up to date.
Right.
And so, yeah, the highs and lows, I think that's the magic. When we came to the city, of course, when in Shamba, una shrub, you don't know anyone. You don't even have an ID, you are a small boy. Everywhere unauliza job, wanataka CV na 10 years of experience. 10 years of experience, ajina ndio nimeingia city.
You can count the 10 years in Tala.
My friend, you look around, but I went somewhere and I saw they were asking for an ID to audition. And you try there, you've never acted. You're told go to Churchill, Carnival, people do comedy there, you sound funny. And you try it doesn't work for a year.
So you're trying to tell me that you tried Churchill show for 1 year, the auditions?
Yes. I think if those episodes were 40, I did 40 episodes without coming on air.
Why did you keep on keeping on? Many people give up with a quarter of that. What made you?
The idea was, the day I went to audition for Churchill, my mom had organized for me to go and join the military. And, you know, she had done a thing. You know, as a Kenyan, she had done a thing. It was a sure bet that I was going to be a military.
In the military.
And some of the people that I had left high school with are already in the military. And so, to me, I was like, and I'm saying this respectively, I was like, ndakakuwe jeshi nilipwe 30K, respectively, you know, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So, me nikasema, this carnival thing I was told, this Churchill comedy thing, ili nikaliineza waki kitu. Kwenda mbele ya wasee kuwapigia stories za ujinga zenye mi upiga tu daily, and people laugh and you're given 1,000. Like, kitu ni progress, hiyo kitu inanionesha, hiyo 1,000 itakuwa 10. So I told mom, I'm not gonna come. Sitakuja wewe stories za ujeshi na kutry usanii. So I auditioned and Victor Bell told me that I was not funny and it was not my thing. But I felt like I left the other thing. This one has to work. So I went home and I was...
But he wasn't telling you that in a bad way.
Not in a bad... Yeah, not in... He was... You could tell. Not in... He was actually honest.
Yeah.
Probably I was not it. But he challenged me, and when I was going on, I was like, I'm going to come back. Nitarudi hapa na umse ataniambia niko. It was the first time I was told no. It was the first no. But it was also the first line I had seen, they're accepting me. This side of life accepts who I am.
Absolutely.
But this guy is telling me no. How? And I've seen the other guy has said some few funny things about the place he comes from, and they allowed him. You know, and I went home saying, you know what, this thing I'll try it, and I'm trying to I'm going to pray. I fasted for 1 week. And, you know, I was just telling God to give me sense of humor, because I think I'd realized that I don't have it. And I prayed for 1 week, fasting, and I came back for the audition after that 1 week. And they listened, at least they were kind, kept the other week, I kept on praying, came back, until they gave me a chance. Actually, they didn't even give me a chance like that. Big Ted used to be given a position at the Churchill show where you'll do an open mic.
Right.
So during an open mic, you'd say, nani hapa mnoma hapa anaweza chekesha wase? And then an audience, a guy in the audience will stand up and say, hey, mimi niko na mchongoano, and then the thing will go. So now I timed Big Ted. I told him, you know what? Mimi naweza taka sana, hii time unapeana nataka kwa
uchoche watu.
Nataka kwa audience niwe mkono. So it make them laugh. The directors, of course, they can see this guy is, at least he has the thing. So the next show I was given a show. And that show was Jesse's. Jesse was given a segment, open mic, where now it hosts these comedians who look like the...
Upcoming,
yes.
Right, I remember.
And, you know, Jesse will host us in his show, and then we'll go to his church where he used to preach. And before he preaches, or before he do his thing, we'll be told, we have some comedians here. Get there, make people laugh. And slowly, too, like that, we grew into it. So that was that 1 year. You're being told no, but slowly by slowly, you're stepping into it.
Right.
So by the time that season came to an end, Kina Yeya, JB Masanduku, Fredo Mondi, all these guys were already popular. Absolutely. I was not. But I was like, okay, fine, but I know them. We've come from somewhere. Now it's progress. And the season comes to an end, and Churchill takes another 1 year, and now I'm trying to do journalism because now my parents are worried. And remember, that's the thing I'm trying to...
Nilikata kwenda jeshi.
Nilikata kwenda jeshi.
But when I hear you speaking, and I want a young man to also see the part of the process, because there are people placed along the way to help. You have mentioned Big Ted. You have mentioned MC Jesse, Victor Bear. And it's not being told what you want to hear.
Yes.
It's being told what you need to hear.
Yes.
And it's to react to rejection.
Yes.
Because when you're told you're not funny, you didn't go and cry.
Yeah.
You said, I will prove this guy wrong, and he will one day accept me.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And I think, you see, the thing is, bro, rejection. It's how we react when you're told no.
Absolutely.
It's the things that God has set as our stepping stones that scare us the most. You know? And I feel like if, as human beings, we manage to know how you fight that thing that you don't like. This guy has told me that I'm a nobody. What do you do? You know, do you care? If you care, then you're not funny.
What do you tell these young people that we see at the first mention of a rejection, they break and they don't want to do that thing anymore? In fact, look at that camera and speak to them about the importance of accepting rejection.
It makes you who you are. If you're rejected by anyone, create yours, you know, make you. We are all built, you know, tunaambiwa tumeumbwa the same, all of us. So then that person has told you no. Then because you're investing so much in that no, it means that you're giving them so much power over you. Then now you're in trouble. Try and take it back. Believe in yourself. It's a no, go to the next one. Keep on moving.
Right.
It's a day at a time. You don't want to die at your 20s or 30. You have 100 years to live. So then, today is no, tomorrow might not be a no.
Absolutely.
So try it tomorrow. Nobody has to like you. Nobody has to tell you yes. You don't matter. Absolutely, you don't.
Well, you've heard that, huh? Rejection is not finality. And I want us to go on a break because one of our guests, Amazame, alikuwa tu kwa jam. Ana gari kubwa na alikuwa kwa jam. Tunamuona tu akikam. So ladies and gentlemen, kwa nini unafikiri ni jeshi?
Bro, umama unajua ukiongelea mama sana unakuwa mama. That's the problem.
See you after the break. This is the Omen Show, the best show in Eastern Central Africa, south of the Sahara. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you very much. Well, this is the Omen Show. As always, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there'll ever be. Well, the man is here. The guy who Chipukizi said akona umama kwa bila kuchelewa. Chipukizi wewe ni mchokozi.
My friend, you know it's a fact.
Ndivyo amesema.
Ndivyo
umesema.
But bro, unajua uko na umama.
Lakini mbona kwani kuona umama ni shida?
It's not a bad thing by the way.
Okay.
Ni kitu poa.
Well,
mimi ni shabiki wa kina mama.
Na ni muhimu.
Na ni muhimu.
Lakini mimi ndio host. Wacha nikuintroduce basi.
Thank you.
Hata kama unajulikana.
Thank you, Bishop.
Well, viewers, we have this man. Many know him as MC Jesse. He's also known as Jasper Modhomi. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
As even as you apologize why you came in a bit late.
I'm really sorry, poleni.
Ni shida ilikuwa wapi?
Actually, let me not say ati poleni. Thank you for waiting on me.
Sawa sawa.
I appreciate it.
Well, before you got here, we had a very interesting conversation, a discussion with Mr. Chipukizi. We just now don't call him a comedian. He is a national leader, all right?
Yes.
In government institutions.
The vice chair.
Yes, of NACADA.
Of NACADA.
We've talked about his journey, how he started, and we're still talking about his journey from Tala and came to the big city to try and make it. And especially for his mother, you know that she would sleep saying, "Mazee kijana wangu, kuna kitu anafanya." Jasper, you're not born in Nairobi.
No.
I've seen some of the photos that you look like an apology.
Seen it? An apology. That's a new.
So the question is,
Pole. Pole.
Guy.
how did you start? Because many people, as I was telling Mr. Chipukizi, many people look up to you guys now, and they want to be where you are now. Young men, where did you start? What was the process?
First of all, thank you for inviting me here. This is a wonderful show. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
I like it.
Thank you.
And Bwana Director, congratulations on the second election, Vice Chair NACADA. Congratulations.
Asante sana.
Now, after all protocols observed, you know tuko na serikali hapa.
Of course.
So lazima to behave.
Anaweza funga show.
Aya, usikia mjalipa tax.
Jesse manze umeanza poa, acha nikwambie. For a minute I thought we should grow up. Manze, thank you so much Brale for inviting me here. I take it as a pleasure. And
bado na mature. Bado ni
Pole.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yes,
coming.
it's a process.
Where
it's
did
a
you
journey.
Where did you start?
Where I started in Meru. First of all, I was not born in Nairobi. I was born in Meru. Brought up in Meru. Kizungu nilikuja kukutana nayo hapa. And I know Chipukizi, I've seen his photos of where he's come from.
Yeah.
Tala.
Right.
Tala sifa, Nova. Maisha ndiyo ilikuwa mbali. I think we share similar stories because, and I don't know why it has happened to comedians that they have to come from poor backgrounds for them to come and shine. Maybe it's for the glory of God. God wants to shine using our lives.
poverty is funny if you think about it.
Yeah, na poverty is very
What is funny about poverty?
Everything, bro. Can you imagine
funny.
unatafuta 50 bob na hawezi afford?
Yeah.
Ni funny,
That's
bro.
funny.
Na kuna jamaa anaenda kubai chupa nyama, uko tu hapo. Ni funny, bro.
Unalala njaa
Yani
na
life,
beshte yako wako na chakula and you know it na wezi mwambia kupatie.
life inakucheka.
That's so funny. That's why huwezi omba hata.
Can you imagine
You
unaingia
can't
kwa
tell
keja
somebody to
msee
give you money.
anakuambia karibu sana for uji na unasema niko sawa na unajua uko sawa.
Unatamani hiyo uji.
Unafaa unajichekelea tu kutoka hapo nje.
It's the only way to survive.
Yeah, it's the only way to survive.
Did
So
you grow
that
up? Did you grow up in poverty?
Absolute, inaitangwa the abject poverty.
How many in your family?
Sisi tuko wangapi? I come from a polygamous family, so sisi tuko wengi. Actually, I was brought up by my grandfather who had 17 children.
Wow.
So those are my uncles and my aunties, and I'm older than some of them because my mother was was actually the firstborn. So
Okay.
Thirdborn, kuna wili wako mbele. So we are some of the oldest grandchildren.
Right. Yeah.
So we grew up with some of his children. So I have uncles when ni younger than me. Wasami siwaitangi uncle. I call them by their names. So
Right.
that was a very big family. And then si kama saa hii unasikia lifestyle imechange for watu. I grew up kwa Ushago, and we grew up in a farm where kazi yetu ilikuwa kuvuna kahawa na majani. Kwetu si kwa miraa niliona hata mimi wakati nilienda high school. So I schooled in Tigania, but I was born in South Imenti. So all of it is Meru County.
Right.
And we never used to enjoy the luxuries zenye ziko sahi. We grew up kwa nyumba za matope na nyasi. I lived like that for so long. Hata nikienda sahi ati whereby we have hotels zinakwambia, oh, MC Jess would like you to come and sample our hotels. They are very nice. They are thatched rooms za nyasi, makuti. Sisi koko Mombasa.
Right.
Ati wananiambia hiyo ni offer.
And that's how you grew up.
That's how I grew up.
Did you,
Zanyasi na
with all
matope.
that hardships, and I asked him the same, did you at some point feel like I have resigned to my fate? Ni hapa nitabaki, ni hivi nitakuwa, I might as well just get used to these surroundings.
Well, I can say for me, no. You can't settle for less. Sometimes it's not everybody who gets a vision, because I can for sure tell you life was difficult, and I remember the reason why I grew up with my grandparents is because I lost both my parents when I was really young. Like my dad passed on when I was like 4 years. My mom passed on when I was doing my KCPE on a Monday. Na KCPE inaanza Tuesday. So that rehearsal day, she passed. So tukakaa, and that is how I ended up also kukaa Ushago. Now one thing that happened to me is in as much as I felt this is it, I'm back in Meru, tumezika wazazi, that's it. Sasa hakuna otherwise. And I'm here with my grandfather, hana kakitu pia Shosho ako hapo, hana kakitu, nyumba ni za matope. Kitchen ndio hiyo, kuni, moshi. You know, ukiona moshi unajua mtakula, but sometimes you go and find it's your grandmother and a boil maji. But and tunasema it's funny. Poverty sometimes is so funny.
I didn't mean to laugh.
You need to run away from it. Yeah, so we with all that, luckily is next to our home kuna kanisa. Yeah, St. Lawrence Catholic Church. So I used to go there. So one thing that gave me hope is church. Kuna tu church. Kukaa huko tu na manana na mapriest. They live a different kind of lifestyle, and hata wao wenyewe wako na hope fulani yenye sisi hatuna. Priest, pastors, all these bishops, there is something wanakuanga nayo that we don't have. Because when I started hanging out with these priests, and some of them are seminarians that became priests now, even the bishop, Mary Scott Salesius Mugambi, they were my friends. The kind of talks that we used to have, zinakupea hope. That, you know what, si lazima uishi hivyo. So there was a time I caught a vision about my life. When I was still in Meru,
I think
I
And
caught
it's
a
interesting.
vision.
Allow me to jump in, because I see a string of spirituality in the both of you, because he also attributed you to giving him opportunities where you used to go, and of course you'll tell us about when you're in Nairobi. He also prayed and fasted. How important is spirituality in this journey?
You see, and that's why I wanted to say something. He mentioned church. I think even me, I started my comedy in church. The church was my first stage. We used to, every Christmas na Easter, I used to act kama Joseph. Mi nimeact Biblia karibu yote.
Joseph.
Joseph, nimekuwa Moses, nimekuwa baba ya Yesu, nimekuwa, unajua?
Yeah.
I've been...
So you are Joseph because of Mary?
Yeah, wacha we.
Sana.
But yeah.
So that's in church.
That's in church. So church, sidhani kama kuna msanii mwenye uzaliwa anakosa kupitia church, and I think that's where Jesse used to tell me that sisi ni mapasta, tumetumwa tuambie watu the good news, because he used to pray for me before I go to perform. Alafu ananiambia, wewe sisi ni watu wa kuhubiri, wewe enda uchekeshe watu.
Yeah, because there's no difference between a comedian and a pastor, a preacher, a priest, and all those televangelists. You go on stage to speak to millions of souls, spirits. You have to prepare. You have to be ready. It's not the jokes that will make you better. No, it's your spirit. You need to get ready, and you need to understand that your spirit need to be on top of other people's spirits. Because it's like a command you're doing. You're telling people things and they're laughing. My brother, if there is no spirituality, your career inatoshana hivi. It will die.
And as you speak about that, because I cut you short, you talked about a vision.
Mm-hmm. I caught a vision. I was 14. I remember that time. I was 14 years old. By the virtue of going to church and praying, God spoke to me. And when someone tells you God spoke to them, wacha kuwapinga. Si wewe waliongelesha.
It's true.
Ni yeye anajua nini aliambia.
What did God tell you?
Yeah, God told me showed me my life in the future.
What was that?
He showed me and opened up my eyes and my spirituality that one day I'm going to be on TV. And I was in Meru. I knew one day I was going to be on radio.
You didn't laugh about it? The way Sarah laughed when she was told this time next year you will have a child?
No, I didn't laugh because it was scary.
Right.
Yeah, God showed me a vision about my life in the future that was bigger. I got scared. But I went and told my family. Each of my family members know. All those 17 plus their children. Now they're like 100 plus. I told them, hey, I've seen God telling me that I'm going to be on TV. And we didn't have a TV even in that home. But we had a radio. Kale kakusikizwa Gukali kwa na beba na kaeka hapo. I used to tell him, one day utakuwa unanisikia hapo kwa radio. It came to pass because I had seen it in a vision that way. And God had just shown me about the media. Nilikuwa nimejiona kama nimevaa suti. Nalala naota na hizi vitu. So it was in that a vision. It's like going into a trance.
Yes.
Someone who does not understand spirituality might not understand what I'm talking about.
I think you're joking.
But someone who knows, God can show you what will happen to you in the future. God can, when you're about to die, God can show you. If you are alert, kabisa.
Now, since that vision has evidently come to fruition, I want to ask you, I want to put you on the spot, in this, and Mr. Chipukizi as well, because now we are seeing gender wars. It's us versus them, men versus women. On Twitter, on social media, you say something, a woman says something, men feel attacked. A man says something, women feel attacked. And you have been given visibility. How or what are you doing in your spaces? Because you've been given a lot of influence to try and smoothen hii vita. Because imekuwa ni gender war. What are you going to do about it? And I'm going to come to you because I also want to talk about drugs. And also you've been given a position to help the young people. Jesse, how are you going to use your position? Because you are a principality, the both of you. Ni nini mtafanya musaidie watu wache hii vita?
First of all, in a position where God has placed us in this society. Like, we are comedians, but the comedy that we've done, by the grace of God, it may transit someone like Chipukizi into government, being the vice chairperson
at a very young age
of NACADA, and at a very young age. This is not kawaida.
Mheshimiwa
This is God.
Nashukuru kwa
and you never know hapo mbele ni nini nakuja. I wouldn't be surprised if I hear he's been appointed as CS.
Yes.
Yes, I won't. I know him, and I know he actually deserved that position.
Absolutely.
Of a director wa NACADA. He's done so much. People didn't know what he's been doing huku behind the scenes. People didn't know how Chipukizi was vibrant with young people. Akipata NACADA wanafikiria amependelewa tu. We knew, the people that were close to him, we knew the things he used to do.
Absolutely.
Tunachekesha, but tutasikia sijui ameenda Kibira,
and we will talk about
stories za vijana.
There's some things I found out that you've been doing na uambiangi watu, but sometimes wacha watu wengine waongee. So I'm going to ask you,
itasemekana anajipigia debe.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask him.
I saw him. He used to invite me, mimi nashinda kuingia na huko dungeons, but he used to go kwa hizo slums.
Yaani umeleta maringo Nairobi wewe?
Si maringo. Sasa wewe
mtu unaona kama apology huko Tigania.
Mimi yangu nilikuwa nashinda kanisani.
Okay, sawa.
Na yeye alikuwa ameitwa wapi? huko kwa vijana wenye wamechapa drugs. I didn't know where I come from. Chupukizi by the way, in Meru mimi sikuwa najua drugs. Sikuwa najua bangi.
But we shall come to that because it's a topic that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
But Jesse, nimekuuliza swali moja. Ni nini utafanya? What is this that you will do to help bridge this gap between the genders? Kuna vita sana.
Actually, that's why I was going with saying where the society has placed us.
Right.
We are in a spiritual warfare also when it comes to ukiekwa in a certain level. There are new demons utakutana nazo huko. When you have followers on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, you think everybody is following you because they like you.
Oh,
no.
You're preaching to the choir.
They are spectators. They are, I don't know whether, I hear people talking of haters, but I don't know about haters. I just think it's your fans who have a different opinion about you.
Right.
So you have all these people following you. Now, you need to be very careful. All the issues that you address, ziwe gender, ziwe za watoto, anything that you speak there, you need to be mindful. It's like now the president, aamke tu aongelele story ya gender-based violence. Si rahisi aamke tu aonge, akona CS mwenye anaongea hizo story. So you have to understand the position that you have in the society and the impact that you can make.
And
there are places and the sensitivity of any issue. There are places where you are not even required to talk. Yeah, just be mum. It doesn't mean you won't do anything. Wow. And when you get platforms such as this ones, now you speak about it. And for me, if you ask me about, you've told me about the issue of when you speak about boy child, girl child, wanalia. When you speak about girl child, boy child, wanalia. We've been confused and alienated by the westernization in this country. We just need to take our place in the society vile tumekuwa. If you ask me, I'm culturally Meru, typical. Nairobi ndiyo jaribu kunichanganya, but I know for sure, Kimeru, we have a very strong culture that hatupinganangi mambo ya wanawake na wanaume. Hakunanga vita za gender huko. And if they are there, maybe zimeanza kukuja sahi. But how we grew up, the culture I grew up in, is when we were initiated into adulthood. I'm talking of circumcision. Yetu haikuwa ya mchezo. It is a serious one, whereby we went in and we were taught being a man. It is not a joke. Ukiona wameru ati awacheka cheki nini. It's because we know what we know about issues of gender. You wouldn't find a Meru man anakimbia huko akifight stories of gender, because unless huyo si mtu amefunzwa na culture. We are taught to respect women. We are taught to respect our mothers. We don't retort at our mothers. We don't. When they speak, you keep quiet, you listen. How we were taught by wazes is akishamaliza. Opinion ni amekupatia. You decide whether to take it or not. You can't argue with your mother. That is the society I come from. We don't argue with our elders. If I want to run for governor today, I can't just run nianze kutukanana na the sitting governor who is our elder, Kiraitu Murungi. Kuna wazee, yes, this is how we address them. You don't go now ati juni campaign, ati wewe mzee, unakosa adabu. Hata watu wanakuangalia wana clinch. This is how we've been taught. Even if mzee ako wrong, this is how we address them. So when it comes to women, we don't, si rahisi upate ati sasa wanaume where I come from, tunacheza na masista zetu. We don't. Hakunanga ma-incest huko Meru nasikia. So when I come to Nairobi and I hear the issue of women and men, munafaitia society. Gani? The girls that are married to Meru men, they know very well these guys behave like kings. Akikuja jioni, anaketi ana expect umepika. Si ati ni Africanization. It's our culture. We take care of our women. That's what we've been taught. If you marry, you are supposed to take care of your family. Amka, enda utafute kazi. Feed them. When you give them food, money, they'll buy food na uta-enjoy. So we are not taught to compete.
Right. With
women. Nimeiona Nairobi.
So I think what you need to do, and I think that's what I hear you saying, is that even in your satire, comic relief, comedy, you're also passing strong lessons and messages that can help the society.
Yes.
Yeah, but don't fuel the war. Be honest. Tell guys like Jesse said, we're in Kenya, bro. Tuachane na Netflix mob na wazungu. Tuko Kenya. So you know how you be nice, manze. Kuwa kama Gukako. You know, kuwa kama Moi basi. Kama una examples za kuwatch. Let's love our sisters. Our sisters will love my boy. Do you know Mr. Kamau and children? Mr. Kamau and children, hiyo ndio society ya Kenya. Tulikuwa tunafunzwa ni aje, huyu ni Mr. Kamau na hao ni watoto wake. Huyu ni brother na huyu sister. Sister wako na friends outside huko. Goal ni guza sister uone vile mabeste wa Kamau watakuonyesha.
Right.
You know,
And we have in the same society. As men, we take our position as men. I'm a man. I take care of people that are around me. That is the responsibility of
as
a man.
Right.
Umepewa hiyo. Hata deadbeats najua, you know, you can't talk about even the fathers that are not there for the kids for reasons better known to them. But if it's caused by a woman, I believe there can be a way of resolving somehow. And I know when ni mwanaume umepata bibi, mko na mtoto, mmekosana, then you're supposed to take care of that kid, but ule mwanamke amepata mwanaume mwingine, you know, it can be complicated.
Right.
But what you need to do as a man, and even in the society today, sisi tuchukue tu place yetu as men. We are in charge of the society.
Absolutely.
Burale, in charge of your daughter.
Be you.
It's true.
We are in charge of women. Whether we like it or not, we are the men. We are supposed to take our place in the society and just behave.
And I think
Be men.
it's very clear, and I just want to urge everybody, listen, we are not fighting. We don't have to fight. Men, take your position. Women, understand your position, and let's live in harmony. Isn't it? So let's also not avoid some of the strong cultural lessons that we've had. Because also the problem comes in when westernization affects some very good things that our culture taught us. Chipukizi, there's something many people may not know, and I'm going to say it here. You've started a school. Yes. I mean, we see you laughing on social media, cracking jokes and this and that, and people say, oh, this is his girlfriend, wamewachana, amepata mwingine. You know those people, I mean, social media.
I know those people. I know.
You understand?
I know.
But I mean, you have gone back. You have gone back to Tala,
Yes.
where you came from,
Yes.
to give back.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I know Jesse here has also done a lot for hospitals and churches there. Tell us about St. Mark's.
St. Martin's Academy. St.
Yes.
Martin's Academy.
Yes, St. Martin's.
St. Martin's Academy is a school that you know, I've built for my people, for my village.
When did you start it?
The first time I started making money, my mom was a nursery school teacher. And so she, as a firstborn, I wanted to help her expand. And so when I got my first shillings, and she was very passionate about every time I get a gig or money or success, she'll tell me that, na usisahau shule. So for the last 8 years, we've been building it together with the small money I make with comedy. Just small, 60K, 20, 30. Tukaijenga, tukaigrow, and now it's a full primary school. And the whole idea was, when my mom I used to go for my pocket money at a nursery school. And I wasn't serious with education. To be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't think that it was the only way to succeed. And I saw how my mom was passionate about me,
Right.
you know, pursuing education. And I realized that when I finished high school, I realized that my mom was right, because the people I grew up with, most of them didn't take education seriously.
Right.
And so I realized, so I was failing her. I wasn't so passionate about education. And so I said that I'm going to put more efforts and my career and myself into try and change that narrative for my people, for my peers, so that we can have an institution where the village, including me, we encourage the young ones to want to be better and to go to school.
This story is very sweet. Allow me just to take a very quick break. We will be back because I want to open the eyes of the public to how you have given back. See you after the break. This is the All Men Show. Well, thank you very much for holding on. Well, before the break, we were talking to these two great gentlemen on matters legacy. Chipukizi, you're telling us about a school, St. Martin's.
Yes.
You've told us your mother was a nursery school teacher. So that is something that is close to your heart. You'd go to the nursery school to pick pocket money. But now, you've actually built a school.
Yes.
You're telling us about it.
So the idea is that now that I'm grown, I look back the last 7 years, I'm like, I was just trying to impress mom. I was just trying to show her that I'm responsible. But now I look back and I'm like...
Is she proud of you?
She must be. She's my best friend, so I think she must be.
Okay.
I mean, unajua anatumianga jina yangu kujiintroduce mahali. Unajua mtu kama Ngina Kenyatta anatumia jina ya babake. Mother anasemanga unajua ule vice chair, the mother.
Having said that, you've mentioned Ngina.
Yeah.
In your journey, and you know you're still very young, and you've done great things. In your journey, you had the privilege of interviewing the president.
Yes.
And you asked him a question that threw everybody off, as in nobody expected it.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
And I have to tell you about the school. So
yes, no, we'll come back to the school.
The president. That's the whole Nakada story, if you ask me. Everybody keeps on asking, how did you find yourself in government? It's a story of comedy. One time I leave high school, like I told you, come to Nairobi, try comedy. The next thing you know, you work at Kiss FM with Caroline Mutoko. You're invited to State House to go and interview the president as a young comedian. So I'm like, nimekuja State House manze na huni president. So this is a king. How am I going to make sure that the king remembers me? I'm given a list of questions, asking about Uwezo Fund, Huduma. He was just elected. And when Uhuru walked in, do you mean it was Jeona president manze? Na kutoka kwetu kwa village, hakuna mtu ashai karibia hata MP. Nikajiambia, una live na hakuna nene. So I looked at him and I said, Your Excellency, I mean, Ginami na yeye tukakoma best, and we became, he laughed. So everyone around me laughed. And then also I think the people, and out of that moment, I think me and the president became friends. And out of that show, I was called by Kina Big Ted 7 more times to perform for the king. And so if I was called to crack jokes to the president 7 times, I mean, bro, ni usani yangu imenileta kwa umse, so sifai kutoka na anything, nafaa kutoka hapo nikiwa na kitu.
So you took your opportunity when you had a chance with the king?
With the king, and then I became closer to the king. And out of that, every time I meet with Uhuru, every picture I see, nawambianga vitu tu jokingly, Your Excellency, nisaidia na kazi. I asked to be a director of Nakada. Because I knew Jago was becoming an MP, and I knew it was vacant. And I was telling the right, huyu ni president. Unajua, sijaenda hapo kubeg, nimeitwa kumchekesha. So kuna picha tutapiga picha na yeye. Your Excellency, unajua nikubaya sina kitu bana nisaidie. And
hivyo ndivyo uliomba kazi.
Si ndio? Na nikaipata.
Kwa hivyo mimi nilihata basi.
Unaenda huko kujifanya slay queen hapo.
Mimi si slay queen, nilikaa niko na pesa.
Sio ndio shida yenu sasa?
Mazi nilikaa.
Cheza chini. Kwani kwa nini mbusi amekaa?
Akaniuliza kuna shida tuko poa. Sikuwa nataka nionekane niko na shida, nilidhani atanifanya
and now you are regretting. It is okay. Let's go back to the school, because in relation also to your position in Nakada,
yes,
that deals with drug abuse and many other things, and now in this generation, people as young as primary school age are involving themselves in drugs.
Yes.
What is your base? What is your vision for St. Martin's School?
The vision is to encourage more people closer home, and closer home is the people I grew up with, to want to be better, to access, to want. Now that I'm in government, I realize the importance of education. That no matter how good you think you are, no matter how rich your parents are, no matter how poor they are, you're not going to make into this African system if you're not educated. You need to learn, you need to be woke. So even those alcohol and drug abuse problems, in Nakada I try and encourage my fellow board members that we try and solve it through class. Because it's an information thing. It's people are into alcohol and drug abuse, like you've said, young people, because they don't know. And the only way you can make everyone know is by putting them into a classroom. So I look at myself and say, okay, fine, I'm a comedian. I make a few money. I have access to president, to Jesse, to you, Burale. I can use that influence to change my village, because maybe I can't change the whole country. I can start home, build a school, put my people, encourage them to, to take their kids to school, look for ways of, bettering the village and encouraging them, talking about these issues, education, talking about sex, talking about alcohol, drugs, encouraging parents to be involved in their kids, encouraging the kids to want to listen to their kids, encouraging the same kids to go back to the church. The same thing I did to be where I am.
You're helping other people.
I'm helping other people to try and use that route.
You want to leave a legacy, because your school will outlive you, will outlive your mother and your brothers. And that reminds me of my friend Jasper here. You put me through a lot of hell one morning that I had to cycle how many kilometers?
300.
300 kilometers. Mimi.
Unaendesha pikipiki ama unaendesha
bike?
Baiskeli.
Ile ya Waluya?
Yes.
Na mimi ni Mluya.
Okay.
So I was at home, of course. The only
Yes.
thing I'm kupatia chakula. But you made me cycle 300 kilometers. But it was for a good cause. Can you tell us about it? Because now we're thinking legacy here. Many people see you happy-go-lucky, doing all these functions and enjoying these things. But there's something you guys are giving back. Why did you make me and some of your friends cycle 300 kilometers?
It's because we understand mali umetoka. When we go, for me, when I go back to Meru, sometimes I find it the same way. You know, there are leaders there who've done something in the village. They've done quite a lot. We are actually beneficiaries. Like maji sahi hatuendei kwa mto anymore. Members of parliament have brought water closer to our homes. That tutapata hata sisi wenye tuko sasa na homes, you have to bring.
We are sorry, sir. You have homes. Okay.
Oh,
we get the point.
Bado tunaendelea though by the grace of God. So maji imeletwa karibu, stima zimeletwa karibu. They have done something. However, lazima hata wewe kama kiongozi, one young person, you are a leader in your own capacity.
Yeah.
Uko nyumbani, when I go to Meru, they don't look at me like kale kajamaka kuchekesha or anything. I've never found myself seated alone. Young people will come and sit with you. They'll ask for advice. Teachers, when I go there, priests want to meet you. Even the member of parliament, my member of parliament, akinikuta huko anataka tukae pamoja tuongee. So who are you? You are also a leader in your own capacity.
So what have you done for your people?
So what you do is you leave a legacy by making sure you give back to that community. Chipukizi yake ni education.
Yeah,
for me, what God spoke to me about is health. Because I remember I lost my grandfather through cardiac arrest. So kuna osia hapo. Ni nini tunaweza fanya? Kuna watu wagonjwa. What can we do? So that's why I was cycling to get zile machines za kuresuscitate watu for the hospital there in Meru. And by the grace of God, when we cycled for 300 kilometers, I have my foundation called Jesse Foundation. That's where we do a lot of things. When you go on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, inbox zimejaa nisaidie. So you can't even go hapo mbele uanze kuambia watu, you turn your page into a refugee camp or a place where people just come wanatafuta msaada. Be strategic. Tafuta ni namna gani utasaidia hawa watu. So the ones that come on inbox, I created a foundation where I am able to help these people. So first it began with the healthcare. Watu walikuwa naambia, tusaidie, tuko na shida, tupe pesa, tunaenda India for cancer, for all this. They are always there. Nakwambia hata leo ziko kwa inbox. So I looked at my community and there are so many people from Meru who tell me, please help. So tukaenda huko kuangalia what the problem is. And when I partnered with friends of mine from Philips International, the CEO wa Philips International, he's called Jasper like me. Actually, that's how we just became friends. Jina tu. Connection.
Right.
And then I told him about the problems that we have in Meru healthcare. Na akatusaidia. Did you know, Burale, when you cycled, we not only got the AED machines zenye za kusaidia mtu akifaint, Philips assisted through that cycling at 300 kilometers in building a state-of-the-art ICU, 9 capacity beds.
Has it been done?
It has been done in Meru County.
Surely, Jesse, I played a major role. Hata picha hujanitumia.
Tutaenda tuifungue officially.
Okay.
What happened is COVID came, ika affect all that.
Yes.
Because the ICU was not for COVID. The ICU was for general magonjwa yote.
Okay.
So now when COVID came in, the county has to change a lot of things. So I don't know sahi what they have done. And then it was supposed to be handed over officially to the county government plus the Minister for Health, Mutahi Kagwe, but it didn't happen because that is when now COVID hit. So that one is still there. It was handed over, but without celebrations because of COVID. We will still go back and do that. It's being used there right now.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Yeah.
I'll ask both of you. What do you, as MC Jesse, want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered with the impact I've had to other people. Wazee, wamama, vijana, that is that. I don't want to be remembered that Jesse aliendesha gari flani, alijenga nyumba flani, alikuwa mdosi. No one cares about that. No one remembers the richest man in 1914. No one remembers the richest man in 1950, but people can tell the people that had impact in 1950. When we talk about this country, the people we talk about, we don't remember them because of the cars they drove or the houses they built.
It's what they did.
But what they did to humanity.
Absolutely.
We don't remember Nelson Mandela ati tunajua ni gari fulani aliendesha. Martin Luther King. Even Barack Obama, we don't even know. Ndio tunajua ile alikuwa anaendeshwa akiwa president. But we remember
the legacy.
The legacy is about the impact they had to the society. And that is what I would like to be remembered with. When I'm old, retired in Meru, I would like to be remembered. Jesse alitujengea hii referral hospital.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to do that with Jesse Foundation. Tutajenga one of the biggest hospital in this country in Meru County.
Hold that thought. Chipukizi.
Yes.
Today, all of us are one day closer to our death. Every day,
Yes.
we are moving towards our death.
Yes.
When that day comes and your life flashes right in front of your eyes, in less than 15 seconds, please, what would you like to be remembered for? 14 seconds now.
I'd like to be remembered for speaking for the voiceless, and not only speaking but trying to add a voice to them and helping them with the little I had. In other words, just trying to make the society a better place than I found it. I want my fame and my celebrity and my comedy and my whatever I have, whatever I represent, I want it to be remembered for leading the people to the right direction.
All right.
You know, to the truth and being honest. And, you know, just like a dope guy, you know, I want guys to remember like I was this,
Absolutely.
you know,
This dope guy.
This has dope guy. This dope, I want to be remembered as a dope guy.
Thank you, dope guy. Thank you, biggest hospital owner in Meru. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you as we started, I had two great men in store for you. And I believe from what you've heard, they have not disappointed. This again is the best show in East and Central Africa. And I want you to help me close the show. Mr. Chipukizi, the most interesting thing in your wallet is?
I don't have one.
Who would you say is your all-time favorite comedian?
Dave Chappelle.
What is your kind of music? Favorite kind of music?
Reggae music. Never
What?
stop reggae.
What is your best childhood memory?
There was a time this priest in my village came home, and my grandmother, everybody was not home. And I figured because every time visitors would come to my place, my grandmother would cook them tea. So mimi nikaenda akaniambia nimchemshie maji ya kuoga mkono. So mimi nikaenda nikamchemshia maji na nikaiweka kwa birika. Nikikuja kumosha mkono akaniuliza, kwani umeniletea chai? Nikamwambia bana pass. So it was, everybody talked about it.
What annoys you most?
What annoys fake people?
If you are given 1 million shillings today, how would you spend it?
1 million shillings, who has it?
Aside from comedy, what other career path would you have taken?
I think I'd be a teacher.
If you are a host of a show alongside another comedian, who would it be?
That's a tough one. Another comedian. All of them.
All right. What would you say was your worst experience?
Where? With women, with life, with experience with... My worst experience, I don't know, but it has to be with something to do with women, but...
All right. When was the last time you took public transport?
Public transport. Where? It's been a minute. I think 8 years.
One man that inspired. Mr. Jesse, most interesting thing in your wallet?
Pesa.
Who would you say is your all-time favorite comedian?
Me.
What is your favorite song?
No woman no cry.
What are you most scared of?
Rats.
What compliment do you receive the most?
Woo! Pia wewe.
Are you a cat or a dog person?
Cat.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Grow up.
What's the one principle did you learn from your parents that you keep until today?
Respect people and love them all.
What is the one thing that you want to do before you die? Your top of your bucket list.
Skydive.
What did you do with the first 1 million shillings?
Well, watu fani. I went to Mombasa. Na zikakulwa zote.
What do you love most about Meru County?
They are very kind. The culture.
When it comes to Manchester, United or Manchester City?
None.
Tell us something in Kimeru.
Mugenina tabukuga ito. Tomorito mero todongi. Keke.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the best show in Eastern Central Africa. I have been your coach and your friend, Robert Broale from Busia Buhalalire. I've been with Mr. Jasper and Mr. Chipukizi. And this has been the
Omen
Show.